Well, good morning and Happy New Year. Welcome to Frankly Speaking, the first live Frankly Speaking of 2024, broadcasting, speaking of live, from the Hesselson studio. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we have a lot to cover. I know I'm looking at the screen too. We still have our Christmas decorations up. We'll be taking those down during the week. I don't know if you think that's too soon. Shall we keep them going for a little bit longer? Wow, do we have speaking of 2024, what a year ahead in store for this program. We're really looking forward to it. We actually have a lot to cover today, just like we did last week about the presidential election. As a matter of fact, just to recap or to catch up, if you will, on the last live broadcast of Frankly Speaking, we received this right at the end of the program, and this was in reference to Maine and the decision in Maine to take the former president off the ballot, meaning Trump. The Trump ballot is a reflection of the nonstop abuse of him since the day he came down the escalator. Every time they do these dirty tricks, it makes a stronger case to elect him to office. You know, that's a point that I've been making on this program quite frequently. Whether or not you like Trump, you've got to see how this plays into what he's been saying and his supporters have been saying from the beginning, like they said here, since the escalator. We do have a little bit of, I guess, updates on that. We're starting to get a lot of opinion pieces already. CNN this morning, their website looks like a wing maybe of the Democrat Party or the Biden campaign. So we'll perhaps get to that. On a sad note, not sure if you heard that from over the weekend, well, really on New Year's Day, at the Kodak Center in Rochester, a car crash. They plowed into a crowd. It's being deemed a potential domestic terrorism. Thousands of people were pouring out of the Kodak Center after ringing in the new year when the fatal crash shrouded the night's celebration with tragedy. Lots of, I guess, at least a dozen gasoline canisters in around the vehicle. Based on the danger level associated with these, the Rochester Police Department Bomb Squad and the Joint Arson Task Force responded to the scene. We are continuing to work with our federal partners, including the FBI, to learn exactly what led to the crash, said one of the experts on the scene. So our thoughts and prayers go out to those affected by that tragedy to start the year off. But I want to mention to you, many of you, I'm sure, been to Kodak Center before. Beautiful location. We've got some other New York issues. We've got to take our first break already. As always, if you're new to the program, if you're starting your new year with us here, we really appreciate it. You can contact me at any time during the program. There it is. Reach out to me. Preferably, I would say, just because it's easier for while the show is going on, because as you see, we already received a virtual wave. You can text that number during the show or after the show, or leave a voicemail. And that's the best way for me to be able to read your comments or see your virtual wave. The email right now I'm having a little issue with, so let's go with text or call at least for now. All right, there we go. I think that's all of our housekeeping. We're going to have another New York issue when we come back. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's time to take our first break. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's Hot Tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
Tired of a pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before. Hammered pans are ultra non-stick and they're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie or this whole chicken dinner. Use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips right out. Plus the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Get the full 9 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop one payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-608-1538 or go to buyhammered.com.
It is the 2024 edition of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. You just saw the beautiful view of Marcus Street on our street cam. So minimum wage in New York has now increased. It is $15 in upstate. This is just an update to refresh your memory. We talked about, I believe, last week. About 1 million New Yorkers who stock store shelves. Excuse me. Hey, we've had a little time off. Get a little tongue twisted. And hold other low wage jobs will get a pay boost in 2024. The hourly minimum is rising to $15. It was $14.20 last year. An 80-cent hike, of course, simple math. And the realization of a $15 statewide minimum wage goal set into motion 7 years ago in New York. Now, of course, one of the major concerns here, and they talk about it for just a little bit in this article, which is by Chris McKenna, is what this means for specifically small businesses, and at a time when businesses in general are struggling, obviously leaving the state in droves, much like the people, but also just not ever considering coming here if they're from various states outside of New York. Frank Kerbin, the director of Center for Human Resources at the Business Council of New York State, pointed out that raising the hourly pay floor means doing the same for certain salaried employees. And I think that's something that's always overlooked, because if you're coming in and you've been working at a company, let's just say, just to make it easy, a company, and you've been paid X because you've been working there and really earned those raises throughout the year, and then someone walks in day one and receives essentially the same salary as you, what happens? Of course, you're going to demand some type of increase. The new minimum wage salaries for those positions will be $62,400 downstate and $58,500 upstate. All these increases add, and this is an important point, said McKerbin, all these increases add to the cost of doing business in New York for sure. And that's not good, because we talk about the business climate here in the state, the dismal business climate. And because on top of costs and taxes, etc., we've even heard about the public safety issue. Remember about a month ago when I was talking about these businesses that are closing their doors because there's so much shoplifting, so much chaos, to use the media's term, so often. So it's just painting a larger, unfortunately, picture of New York and what we're facing looking into 2024 about the business climate, about, again, I'm always curious, what will the numbers look like? How many more people will we lose this year? I hope I'm wrong. But when you tack on costs, and now with public safety a major issue, we've mentioned this so many times, but people who are now making 5-year plans, that, yeah, they might not leave today because of obligations, but in 5 years, or maybe as they get closer to retirement, they start making the plan of where to go to that's affordable, that's safe, that doesn't always seem to be taking away more and more of your freedoms, and doesn't also seem to be a state that's always at the bottom of the worst lists and always at the top of the worst lists when it comes to freedom, taxes, etc. So enough on that. Just going through some of the more, I guess you could say, local or statewide, just to kick off the program for 2024, because we're going to be talking a lot about the presidential race this upcoming year. I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school. I think that is going to be one of our main topics every morning. I could be wrong. So we have a couple of updates on, what the race is shaping up to be. We also have quite a few stories here. Well, just kind of probably something I'll get to at the end of the program, but those quick hits, a bunch of different things that we may not have an opportunity to dive in depth, but that I think are very important for you to be made aware. So all that and much more coming up. We got to take our second break. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox, stay with us.
When I was in law school, my father had to stop working when he developed early Alzheimer's. Social Security disability benefits saved my parents financially. I'm Peter Gorton of Lockman & Gorton. Now I'm a lawyer who helps people when they need Social Security disability. If you can't work, I'd like to help.
For a free consultation, call Lockman & Gorton toll-free 1-800-698-0567.
Look carefully. See if you can tell the difference. One is a pair of brand name $5,000 hearing aids, and one is a pair of Audien Adams priced at only $99. Take your time. What do you see? You'll notice they're both tiny. They both fit right in the ear canals, so they're almost invisible. They're both rechargeable, so no batteries. They're both wireless. They're both packed with features, and they're both high quality. However, the $5,000 hearing aid requires that you first see a doctor and then an audiologist. The pair for $99 can be ordered right over the phone. No need to see a doctor. No need to have a hearing test. Okay, the $5,000 hearing aids, they're on the left. The $99 pair of Audien Adams, they're on the right. So you couldn't tell the difference with your eyes, could you? And you probably won't tell the difference with your ears either. And isn't that the most important thing? Audien promises that they'll help you hear better, and they back up that promise with a money-back guarantee. You can try them risk-free for 45 days. If you're not completely satisfied, you can return them for a refund. But we are pretty sure you're going to be very happy.
Thank you, Audien.
So call the number on your screen right now and order your full pair of high-quality hearing devices for only $99 right over the phone right now. Call
1-800-258-1672.
Audien Adams are trusted by over 300,000 customers nationwide.
My Audien really have been a godsend to me.
It's small, it's easy to use.
They're small, they're comfortable, they're rechargeable.
So call the number on your screen and order your full pair of affordable, comfortable, almost invisible, rechargeable Audien Adams for only $99. Call
1-800-258-1672. 1-800-258-1672.
Audien changed my life.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV. Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the Hasselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. Whew, a lot to cover. The New York Post is reporting that President Biden, spent 37% of the year 2023 at a getaway spot, whether it be in Delaware or a vacation site or Camp David. The 81-year-old commander-in-chief was away at one of the most relaxing locations or famous retreats 138 days in 2023, meaning Camp David, or 35% of the time. Delaware was a favorite spot for the president, who spent 90 days, including frequent trips and one prolonged vacation. Biden's number of getaways, the days, that is, specifically the days, in 2023 was only down slightly from 2022 when he spent more than 38% of the year. I do find stories like this interesting because this will come out with nearly every president. I don't know if it's always so specific with the numbers, but it'll say, spent this much time on vacation. And there's always one side will criticize and then the other side will defend. And that's what we have here. The White House responded by saying the president has taken 16 days of vacation this year, and even on those days, he has worked. Deputy Press Secretary Olivia Dalton said, over the Thanksgiving holiday, Americans saw the president hold a slew of foreign head of state calls before announcing a deal to release hostages from Gaza the very next day. The fact is, the president works every single day of the week, whether he is in Washington, Delaware, Camp David, or anywhere else, and those around him and reporters who cover him closely know that. Or a lot of reporters covering him closely, number one. Number two, isn't that the argument a lot of people make for working at home still? I could do my job anywhere. But then to show you that they're a little bit on the defensive, they try to turn it around and somehow attack Republicans in Congress. These fictitious attacks on the president are all the more absurd coming from Republicans in Congress who left down in December without doing their job to fund the government or our national security priorities. Interesting take on that. Now, Biden, who historically rode Amtrak to get out of D.C. when he was a senator, outpaces all recent presidents in terms of days away from Washington. George H.W. Bush was his closest competitor, spending 36% of his presidency at a getaway spot. Just one of those weird, I guess, end-of-the-year stories that I thought was worth perhaps mentioning before we get into the nitty-gritty of the race, because you're not going to get, let's face it, unless I'm really wrong and history is going to not repeat itself, the president is going to get a lot of very good media coverage this next year. You see it on CNN this morning. If you have an opportunity, you can go to their website and you'll see what looks essentially like the wing of the Democrat campaign, really. Did you see the president being interviewed? Oh, my headphone just went out. Did you see the president being interviewed during the New Year's Eve programming with Ryan Seacrest? This is what I'm referring to. Now, of course, you don't expect necessarily too much maybe foreign policy issues coming up or something like that. But Ryan Seacrest asked the tough question of the president. I'm curious, what sorts of holiday foods have you been enjoying over the last few days? And even this, the softball question, didn't even go that smooth. Dr. Jill Biden had to help him along a little bit. Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me, he began. But I've eaten pasta, which I love. I've eaten a lot of chicken parmesan. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically. And that's when the First Lady interrupted and said, and ice cream. And he goes, oh, yeah, and ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream. You know, a lot of people say, come on, this is a little too softball. One Twitter user, whatever we want to call it, Twitter, X, whatever. This is such a farce at this point. Seriously? Well, I would warn, and I don't think I'm telling you, yes, I'm trying to fix my headphones. I know that I'm not telling you anything new, but if you're expecting the hard-hitting questions, I would not hold my breath. Not typical of a sitting Democrat president. And I'll show you some examples of that coming up a little bit. I do want to ask your opinion, because I meant to start this segment with that. I know we have a lot of small business owners, people that work for small businesses that watch this program. What do you think, and how will it affect your business when it comes to this minimum wage increase? Now at $15 an hour as of January 1st. Again, I think it's understated how much it affects the whole working atmosphere, because you have people that deserve to make more if the person walking in day one makes $15 an hour. Okay? We received this from one viewer. The carpenters union workers are upset. Their wages are locked in. Entry-level workers would rather work at Walmart than haul sheetrock. Another failure of the elite mindset politicians to see the big picture. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, of course, and I agree, a lot of it is, this is a loaded word, so I don't want to use it, but to buy votes, essentially, it's very much like with what Biden's doing with the student loan payments. They realize that this helps some people to perhaps go over and vote for them. In this case, Governor Hochul or Democrats in Albany. But it has been a long, not long, but 7 years. This was the goal that was set. So $15 an hour, what does that mean for your business? Maybe it means laying someone off. Or on the other side of that coin, saying, boy, I could really use somebody, but I cannot afford the $15. Where you're saying, well, Frank, it was $14.20 last year. 80 cents an hour at the end of the day in today's business climate, in today's financial climate in general, is a lot, depending on how many employees you have as well. But we've got to take another break. This show is moving fast. Please weigh in. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. Also, well, yeah, that's the best way to reach me. The number on the bottom of the screen is I work on my email. So 607-358-3131. Leave a voicemail. Oh, did you watch? And I haven't yet. Did you watch that MASH special last night? I'd love to know what you think. It was on Fox. It was a little past my bedtime, so I'm going to watch it probably later this week. But it was a MASH, meaning the television show, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, MASH special, looking back at the show that changed history. So if you watched it, let me know what you think. But now we do have to take that break. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox will be right back.
The average cost of hearing aids is nearly $5,000. But now you can buy a full pair of rechargeable, wireless, nearly invisible, easy to use, very comfortable hearing devices for only $99. $99 for a full pair? Yes, but only from Audion. Audion Adams are trusted by over 300,000 customers nationwide.
My Audions really have been a godsend to me.
Audion Adams are tiny, but powerful and nearly invisible.
It's small, it's easy to use.
Audion Adams can be sold over the phone today without having to see a doctor or audiologist. Order your full pair of high-quality hearing devices for only $99 right over the phone. Call
1-800-371-8993. 1-800-371-8993. 1-800-371-8993.
Emerald here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my French door air fryer 360. Extra large 26 quart capacity. Cook with up to 70% less calories from fat than deep frying. That's a big deal, my friend. 360 degrees of superheated air gives you fast, even cooking. My 10-in-1 French door air fryer 360 grills, air fries, dehydrates, roasts, bakes, broils, proofs, slow cooks, and toasts. This baby does it all. These French doors are a game changer. Look at how easy that is.
Now find out how you can try Emerald Lagasse's French Door Air Fryer 360 with 3 cooking tiers, fetch tool, air frying rack, and drip tray in your home for 30 days for just $14.99.
Order now and you'll also get Emerald's Air Fryer Favorites recipe book. And we'll automatically upgrade you to our bonus cooking kit free. Plus, find out how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so call or click now to order.
You're gonna love it. I guarantee it.
What a beautiful view of Market Street this morning. Here in the year 2024. Sounds futuristic, doesn't it? Welcome back to Frankly Speaking. So there's a lot to cover on 2024, meaning the election. We're probably not going to reference it as a year every time. It's more about the presidential election. The 2024 campaign year for President Joe Biden's inner circle, according to CNN, will largely be about carefully ratcheting up the intensity against Donald Trump. Wow. I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of intensity against Donald Trump, but suggesting that they're wary of voters becoming dulled to what they expect to be the former president's ever wilder rhetoric and promises about what he will do if he gets back into power. So they're afraid that that's not going to get enough coverage, that people are going to get dull or dulled to it, or to maybe start to ignore it. Well, it has been how many years of constant attack, so I could see where some people maybe zone out. But listen to how far, and talk about a time, we bring it up on this program so much, where we want to get community back, and yet there seems to be so many that want to divide us. I would suggest that that's what, according to this piece by CNN, is going to happen. As some of the younger aides on Biden's re-election campaign have been grimly joking, they call it to go, quote, full Hitler. When the leading Republican candidate's speeches and actions go so far that the Biden team goes all the way to a direct comparison to the Nazi leader, rather than couching their attacks by saying Trump parroted him. So that's them, I guess, being weak, is saying that Trump is parroting Hitler. They're waiting to go what they call full Hitler, calling him, in no uncertain terms, Hitler. I mean, I don't think that's right to ever do. And I know there's a lot of criticism when you've had Republicans say it in the past, but now it's something to celebrate. That was the second paragraph in this piece from CNN. The campaign so far, these aides believe, has essentially been Biden running against himself and losing. Has he really been running much at all? But I think there's a point there that he tried to, a while ago, run on Bidenomics, dismal failure, meaning that it didn't work. I mean, even David Axelrod and others saying, why are they calling it Bidenomics? People, whatever the media tries to tell us, that the economy is booming or whatever, people are feeling it. People, and we've talked about this with Joe Sempolinski the other week. You know, you can tell us one thing, but you still go to the grocery store, you still go to the gas station. So what they're saying is he was running, to kind of, look how good I'm doing. Look at all these great things we accomplished, and that's not working. Anxiety about his age, obviously a major issue. The Democrat divide, listen to this, over the handling of the war against Israel and Hamas. Yeah, that's weird strain in the Democrat Party. But they see the next few weeks of the Republican primary campaigns as an opportunity to persuade influencers and media into thinking about the race on their terms. Quote, you have this moment in the first quarter where he has continued to go full MAGA extremist now in order to shore up support in his own base, a senior campaign aide told CNN, but did so based on anonymity. While he may be successful in that effort, if we do our job, we will point out that everything he's saying is extreme and unpopular. We know that, and I have a couple other pieces on it. It doesn't come in as any surprise. We know that the campaign has been, that's why this piece to me seems very old, coming from Edward Isaac Dover from CNN. We know this campaign was always going to be about Trump being a threat to democracy. But I know we talked about it last week extensively. I think it's going to be tough to sell that when you have the decision in Maine, you have the decision in Colorado to take the lead, the person leading the nomination in the Republican Party, take that person off the ballot and then talk about protecting democracy. Now, we got a lot of messages coming in. We'll get to those after the break. I don't dare read them all the time live until I give them a quick glance over, okay? But thank you. Keep those comments coming in. We were talking about minimum wage here in New York. If you're maybe the place you work for, if you are a small business owner, how is that going to affect you? What are you seeing on the ground? So the Biden campaign hopes to make 2024 less about Biden. I could understand that. And more about a contrast with Trump. We've already started to see that with some of the rhetoric in the media, but also from the president himself. But the Washington Post looks at it different, that it's both sides that are playing this. And then this is the Washington Post. And then that, let me get to it. Just to show you a little bit of what we're going to be dealing with for the next year. In President Biden's increasingly stark telling, an America led by former President Donald Trump in 2025 would be a dystopian dictatorship with American values constantly on the brink of collapse. Biden said earlier this month, as a matter of fact, the greatest threat Trump poses is to our democracy, because if we lose everything. Trump, who has used terms like vermin to describe his enemies and called 2024 the final battle, has said if Biden wins his second term, Americans would no longer have a country and the globe would quickly descend into a third world war. So this is going to be, the term doom and gloom. There's going to be a lot of negativity pushed. But, to the viewer's point that said what happened in Maine and, strengthens Trump's case. And what was that rally where Trump said he's one indictment away from the White House? And there may be something to that. So this constant attack has really, if anything, helped his numbers. As the two leading candidates trade depictions of doom, the 2024 race for president is increasingly dominated by dark sentiments and appeals to fear, a phenomenon experts and pollsters say is reflective of the country's broadly pessimistic and apprehensive mood. So they go on to say, well, Biden's argument is going to be that they can use Trump's words, and that's fair then. That's fair. But Trump's isn't backed up by facts. So they're already saying it's that it's okay when one person does it and not the other. But I will say, the more they focus on that, like that one last piece said, if they want to go, quote, full Hitler, by meaning what they mean by that is calling, that's an article from CNN, calling Trump, not saying, comparing him to Hitler, saying he is Hitler. I don't, again, maybe I'm wrong. But what do you think? If you're a Trump supporter, you hate Trump, what do you think? Is that the way, the avenue to go down? I mean, I feel that this has been how many years now of rhetoric like that. So is it going to be effective? We've got a lot of messages coming in. I don't want to run too late because I want to make sure that I can get to as many of them as I possibly can. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. When we come back, more on 2024. I'd love to hear your opinion on the minimum wage. I just think it's interesting. Maybe something that caught you off guard. How will it affect your business? How will it affect where you work? New York State, whatever you want to say, making it maybe a tougher business climate. So we can talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Stay tuned. This 5-piece bakeware set, a $60 value, absolutely free. Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before.
Gosh, what I love most about this design is this hammered copper look. It would just look so fantastic hanging in my kitchen.
Wow, this is a beautiful pan. It looks great. Look at those eggs dancing around in there. I tell you, I'm sold. Where do I get these? I love them.
Hammered pans are ultra non-stick. Nothing sticks. Even gooey mac and cheese slips out with ease. And look, these sticky candies melted with a torch are no match for hammered pans. Plus, they're super durable, so use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips out and a pan that looks just like new. They're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie, cheesy lasagna, or this whole chicken dinner. Any recipe looks great in these pans. From steak flambe to delicious desserts and delicate fish, nothing sticks. Plus, the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Similar sets are over $1,000, but you won't pay that. Not $500 or even $300. Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99, and we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. Together, these are an $80 value, yours 100% free. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-603-3404 or go to buyhammered.com. That's 1-800-603-3404, or you can order online at buyhammered.com.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We received a lot of comments about minimum wage going up here in New York as of January 1st. Minimum wage is now $15 an hour. This person hearing firsthand from someone they know that a hospital is simply cutting back on hours. They say they can no longer afford overtime pay. That's fair. And then this from a viewer: my Social Security when I retired was based on less than the minimum wages I retired at. They now need to raise Social Security at the same level. Also, my retirement savings in the stock market is down 68%. Yeah, that's why, again, going to be issues with Biden touting the economy. But I'll continue. If it wasn't for my supplemental income and selling my New York property, I'd be on the street. Yes, we've heard that, unfortunately, for quite some time. They should have held back on the wage hike because COVID nuked everything. That's another good point. We got a lot of messages here. Back when I was younger, here's another voicemail. Back when I was much younger, jobs at the various fast food businesses and grocery stores were held by young people who were working after school and on weekends to fund date nights and buy their new clothes. Now these same jobs are being held by heads of households. I could see where these business owners will scale back on their full-time employees and utilize more and more part-time employees who they won't have to fund benefits to the levels they would for full-time employees. Well, and that's a great point. That, it's kind of the unintended consequences in many ways. So it's either people getting less hours, it's people losing their jobs, or people not being hired because the businesses can't afford it. Or businesses, something that we talked about in the past, is overlooked as well, businesses not wanting to come to New York. Back in the radio station days, we used to talk about this all the time, where especially bigger businesses, New York isn't even on their list of maybe moving their factory or whatever the case may be. So thank you for that. Keep the comments coming in. I always appreciate it. If you're new to the program, you see the number on the bottom of your screen. You can comment there, either leave a voicemail or text me as well. I would love to hear from you. Okay, back to the presidential race. We got a lot of things going on. There we go. Back to the presidential race. President Joe Biden heads into the election year showing alarming weakness, this is interesting, among stalwarts of the Democratic base. We mentioned earlier there's a lot of pushback about his support for Israel, which is very unfortunate that the Democrat Party has went in that direction, but I'll continue. With Donald Trump leading among Hispanic voters and young people, 1 in 5 black voters now say they'll support a third-party candidate in November. I think the person, yes, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. received the most support in the polls, but there's also Cordell West, and I believe is there somebody else running that it's escaping me? In a new USA Today Suffolk University poll, Biden's failure to consolidate support in key parts of the coalition that elected him in 2020 has left him narrowly trailing Trump, the likely Republican nominee, 39 to 37%, with 17 supporting an unnamed third-party candidate. Well, we've talked about it for quite some time, but those even in the media have talked about it. The real concerns and fear over Biden's age, mental and physical health. When 7 candidates are specified by name, Trump's lead inches up to 3 percentage points, 37 to 34, with independent Robert F. Kennedy Jr. getting the top of the third-party field with 10%. The findings underscore the formidable political task the president faces this year to win a second term. Biden now claims the support of just 63% of black voters. That's a decline from 87% he carried in 2020, according to the Roper Center. He trails among Hispanic voters by 5 percentage points. In 2020, he had swamped Trump among that demographic group, almost 2-1. Now, there's some that are able to twist this in the media, saying, well, maybe, it's like the story I think we ended on last week, which was Kamala Harris is actually, she's a Democrat powerhouse. She's a voting powerhouse. It's the same kind of thing that we'll see here, and that we'll hear a lot more from the media in the next, 12 months, not quite, 11 months. Now, how am I doing on time? I'm doing good. I don't want to run too late. Because they're even suggesting that Trump should be hoping for higher voter turnout. This is from Harry Enton at CNN, a lot of CNN this morning. Republican Donald Trump is in a better position against Joe Biden now than at any point during the 2020 campaign. The former president leads the current president in more than his fair share of polls of registered voters, including in a number of key swing states. So you say, okay, well, how will the media twist this? But it seems plausible, says Harry Enton, that these initial polls may be underestimating Biden's position. If the shoe was on the other foot, let me just ask, because I always find the media very fascinating, even though they're pretty easy to read. If the shoe was on the other foot, do you think that sentence would be the same? But it seems plausible these initial polls may be underestimating Trump's position. Would you ever hear that? I do not believe so. Anyway, in a change from the usual expected dynamic in which Democrats are supposed to do better with higher turnout, Biden may benefit when pollsters look at likely voters instead of all registered voters. Put this another way, Trump may do better in an election in which turnout is higher. That's according to Harry Eaton. All right, we got to take another short break. What do you think? Are you looking forward to the presidential coverage for the next 11 months? I know you're looking forward to it here, frankly speaking, but in general, what that's going to look like, because it's It's already been a pretty loud and vocal campaign, for lack of a better term. I mean, Biden has not really been campaigning all that much, but anytime a president goes out and gives a speech or does anything like that, that's kind of campaigning, right? But now enough focus on what he's done. That has not been, this according to CNN, that has not been successful. So now they're going to go and really attack Trump and hope that gets people motivated, that they're not zoning out to it at this point, which I think many people zoned out to it a long, long time ago. But we have more on Biden, on Trump, a couple other things as well to get to. I'm not going to spend the whole program on just this, but pretty much the lion's share. But again, I find this interesting, especially the conversations we've been having this morning of what you think about minimum wage increasing in New York to $15.80 an hour jump from last year, which may not sound like a lot, but it really does. It affects the employees you already have, maybe your thoughts about employees you were hoping to hire, and also the people that have been there for a long time that now get a raise, or should anyway, because the person walking in the door the first day receiving similar compensation. So what do you think? How is it going to affect your job? How is it going to affect your place of work or your business? And you don't have to give exact details, but if you'd like to share what you think this means for New York State at a time when I don't think I'm speaking out of school, where New York is struggling with the business climate, the economic climate, obviously public safety climate as well, which they all tie in together, and that's why people are voting with their feet and moving out, these mass exodus, as we see the headline about once a year. All right, let's take that break. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, please stay with us.
You learn pretty fast that there are no shortcuts in racing or in life. So it's no surprise that there aren't any when it comes to hair loss either. One of my first attempts to deal with my own hair loss was a literal shortcut. Thankfully, my wife found Hair Club. I thought that nobody could understand how mortified I was to be losing my hair. So you can imagine how relieving it was to know that Hair Club's experts have already helped so many people with their hair loss. I was shocked that Hair Club had virtually every solution possible. If I had known about Hair Club sooner, I never would have tried any of those overhyped advertised solutions.
With over 120 locations, Hair Club is North America's largest provider of complete hair loss solutions. Whether you choose surgical, non-surgical, or restorative solutions, Hair Club has you covered.
If you're determined to get your hair back and live the life you deserve, just call Hair Club. You can get your own free personalized consultation with a hair loss expert and be on your way to the finish line in no time. Call now.
Call Hair Club now to schedule a free consultation and save 20% on select solutions using promo code Frankie. 800-205-4499.
This right here is confidence in a bottle. It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Getting real video for a commercial used to be extremely expensive, but not anymore. WYDC TV Big Fox now offers the Twin Tiers amazing aerial video for your business. We do it with our state-of-the-art drone and commercially licensed aerial pilot. Beautiful HD aerial video and pictures custom-made for your commercial. Call or email now to advertise on Big Fox TV and let everyone see your business in a whole
Had that music a little loud. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, thank you for all the interaction this morning. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. I hope everybody had an amazing new year. Had a lot of fun, that you're recouped. You're feeling better. Or maybe you felt fine from the beginning. Okay, this is according to Kimberly Strassel, and I've got it from the New York Post, but I actually believe it was originally maybe the Wall Street Journal that posted it. And she highlights the day Team Biden and Democrats should have reconsidered his 2024 re-election campaign. Now, I know we talked about it a little bit, but it was one of those kind of stories you hear a lot where nothing was going to come of it. But, will he drop out, or how would that work? Because they don't want Harris either. Well, one hazard of political campaigns is the unseen junction, a key moment that nobody recognizes at the time. Such a moment came for Democrats on April 19th via a letter to Congress about the federal probe into Joe Biden's son, Hunter. Team Biden might be forgiven for ignoring this missive. Hunter's legal team was quietly negotiating with U.S. Attorney David Wise, working to close his probe with no charges, getting that sweetheart deal that we talked about so often. That April day was, in retrospect, and I'm jumping around, I'm not going to get the whole piece for you, but you can find it at the New York Post. That April day was, in retrospect, the moment for the Biden team and Democrats more broadly to reconsider the wisdom of a re-election campaign. One argument I have there is it is up to Team Biden. It's up to Biden. That's not really a decision. I mean, you can always have power players in the back, but it really was a Biden decision. You can't tell a sitting president that he can't run for re-election. The president was already beginning to sag under polls that show sweeping dissatisfaction with his job performance and age. Hunter has since become another big drag on the president's hope for a second term. So far, the Biden campaign and the media remain in full denial over this, insisting the story is a political non-starter, so long as House Republicans fail to prove Joe profited from Hunter's moves here. That misses the Burisma board for the political trees. And it goes through and gives you the whole story, and you followed it yourself. But Joe Biden beat Trump in 2020 in no small part on the claim his opponent lacked the moral fitness for a second term. And he is banking on a repeat. But the Hunter drama is a direct hit to Joe's own supposed fitness, as it presents a storyline of an extended Biden family grifting for years on Joe Biden's public standing with his implied agreement. It puts both sides in the mud. And that's a very good point. That's why I keep highlighting, too, this idea that they're going to run on Trump being a threat to democracy when they have these decisions coming down from like Maine and Colorado trying to keep the lead nominee for the Republicans off the primary ballot. So it's going to be hard to say someone's a threat to democracy and then defend what happened there. But the Justice Department's initial kid glove handling of Hunter backfired, landing the mess square in the president's campaign cycle. Then you had Hunter give that press conference, which a lot of people on the Biden side said maybe don't do that in the future because that just added more trouble. Does it now? Now Biden officials are refusing to hold to account a president's son who scorned a lawful subpoena, just adding more and more on top of it. As a matter of fact, the president's former press secretary, Jen Psaki, recently acknowledged that the White House team was surely wishing that Hunter would please stop talking in public. So anyway, it's acting as if it could similarly disappear, the new Hunter drama. It's too late for that, and Democrats might consider what that means for 2024. So you can find that full piece of the New York Post by Kimberly Strazel. We have to take another short break. Stay with us. This is, frankly speaking, the last 15 minutes or so always goes very quickly. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-977-4997. That's 1-800-977-4997, or go to getbullseyepro.com. It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We do have another break that we have to take, so let's get in as much as we possibly can. Interesting comment or statement from Fox News. They had a piece from just this morning that says a Georgetown University professor who spent 12 years as a CIA intelligence analyst is warning that DEI, meaning diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, and the overall politicalization of the intelligence community has become a significant problem, and that he is confident those agencies will attempt to interfere with the 2024 election, similar to their efforts in 2020. My guess is, this is a quote from Fox News, my guess is that the proverbial deep state within the intelligence community will reemerge because presumably a Republican candidate will again be seen as a threat to the internal policies that many intelligence people like, said Dr. John Gentry. Within days, if you recall, of the bombshell New York Post story that detailed the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop in the lead up to the 2020 election, 51 former intelligence officials signed onto a letter in an attempt to discredit the laptop, saying it had, quote, all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation, end quote. So he goes through to show some more examples of what he is fearful of as we are now in 2024 and what that could mean for the election. Now, David Mark says the Supreme Court could make a Trump victory virtually impossible. I think this may be a little wishful thinking from CNN, but perhaps not. Crazier things have happened during Trump's time, one way or the other. A wild card is whether Trump will be ruled ineligible for the 2024 ballot. If the courts allow it, the swing state could gain even more influence over who wins the presidency in 2024. Since there are a total of 68 electoral votes in those swing states, this gets a little bit into the weeds here. But it has become an issue of stark national importance with Thursday's decision by Maine Secretary of State Sheena Bellows to exclude Trump from the ballot in her state. Bellows, Maine top election official and a Democrat, elected to her post, I like the way they word that, elected to her post by the state legislature, cited Trump's actions on January 6th. You know that. Bellows removed Trump from the state's 2024 primary ballot based on the 14th Amendment's insurrection ban. However, Bellows' decision will be put on hold until Maine's Superior Court, a trial-level court, makes a ruling. And then it goes through Colorado, Maine aren't the only states. I know in New York they're looking at it as well. So, yes, I think that goes without saying. The Supreme Court could make a Trump victory virtually impossible. And I think that's, I know people are saying, well, the Trump campaign and people around Trump are nervous. Well, I think they have a right to be nervous because you never know what's going to happen when Trump's name's attached. You never know. And it speaks to his point that he's campaigned on for years, which is essentially they're out to get me, right? As so many have said. So does that play right into his hands? And maybe he is fearful because that would be the kind of the last attack to really keep him without even the potential of reaching the White House, without even having the opportunity to reach the White House and taking away the voters' vote, essentially. We got to take our last break. Stay with us. We'll be right back as we wrap things up here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now and get this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. This book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And if you call right now, as a bonus, we'll throw in a free annuity rate report. We've researched over 1,200 annuities summarizing the rates and benefits for you. So So don't miss out on this opportunity because supplies are limited. Call now and find out how you can get up to 33% more income in your retirement, and you'll receive annuity do's and don'ts for baby boomers and the annuity rate report as an added bonus. Both books are yours free just for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-354-5972. That's 800-354-5972. Again, 800-354-5972.
In a few words. Urkel, glasses. Nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5:30.
We are back, frankly speaking, here on WYDC TV Big Fox, just wrapping up this edition, our first one of 2024. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who commented on the minimum wage hike. And just in general, here's our last comment from a viewer. The price of everything is rising faster than the minimum wage and Social Security money. Businesses will simply cut hours to keep up with inflation in the short term. The government should step back and let the marketplace catch up and let it decide what to reward workers' performance with, instead of mandated raises across the board. All it's doing is causing massive inflation that will take years to recover from. A very good point. Also, at a time when we're told how many jobs are free and how many people are looking for work, or how many places are looking to hire somebody, not looking for work necessarily, why would, the marketplace should decide that. Okay. Just got thinking. Maybe you know and maybe you don't. Okay. If all these states take Donald Trump off the respective primary ballot, what would prevent him from running as that independent candidate? I think that's the same because remember, like for instance in Maine, she's in charge of elections, so she could keep him off as any kind of candidate. I guess write-in campaign she couldn't do anything, but the chances of a successful write-in campaign would be very, very difficult. We'll put it that way. So yeah, with independent still on the ballot, so I believe that she, as a Democrat, if she could take a Republican off, I believe she could also take an independent candidate off. Not 100% sure about that, but that's why I think we haven't seen that idea floated more frequently. How are we doing on time? We are just about out, aren't we? Yes. Trump's courtroom and campaign trail collision is about to become a reality. That's about to start soon, where there's going to be the conflict in schedules. Oh, by the way, yeah, we're out of time. Those Epstein documents, Jeffrey Epstein documents that the judge has ordered released or dumped, I heard that is today. That is going to happen today, is what one of the articles said. So if that's something that interests you, keep an eye on the news. And if you didn't see this, I just don't think this is a winning strategy. Anti-Israel rally at JFK Airport causes New Year's Day nightmare on one of the busiest travel days of the year. And chanting such things as NYPD, KKK, IDF, you're all the same. Not even a good rhyme. I don't know how you win over hearts and minds by destroying people's travel. Not the best strategy. All right, we're out of time. Thank you to everybody who joined us. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll be back tomorrow morning starting at 7 with Frankly Speaking, only on Big Fox. I look forward to it.
to a large 25-quart capacity oven. Now you can try Emeril Lagasse's Dual Zone Air Fryer Oven with free recipe book in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. But wait, we'll automatically upgrade you to his deluxe cooking kit and 1-year VIP protection plan absolutely free, complete with everything you need to cook Monday to Sunday family-size meals. Plus, ask how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so order now.
You're gonna love it. I guarantee it.
It's all types to play Family Feud. The Blunt Mama.
If you knew Steve Harvey was at your door, you'd answer it wearing what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Weeknights at 7 and 7:30 on Big Fox.